Hey Raiders, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a guide on artifact sorting, selling, and rolling. We farm a lot of artifacts in this game, and it's important to know which are worth selling right off the bat, which are worth keeping and trying to roll, and which are going to be worth keeping no matter what they roll. This video is going to cover determining what to sell initially, artifacts to keep and then roll, separating artifact set types, when to roll your artifacts, and rolling, then selling or keeping. So I'm farming Fire Knight here. I look at this stun piece, and I'm going to keep this. Then I look at this curing piece, and this piece I'm going to go ahead and sell. Then the next pieces, I have this Fury Boots I'm going to sell, and I have this Immunity Gauntlet, and I take a hard look at it. It looks okay, but finally I decide to just go ahead and rule it out. So how I determine which of those to sell and which to keep, I have to make my own personal rules to artifact selling. You can make your own, or you can use mine. You want to sell flat main stats of hit points, attack, defense on your gloves, chest, and boots. The curing gloves I just sold had a flat main stat. You need to decide which ranks and rarities of artifacts to keep. For end or late game, I sell all 5-star artifacts and 6-star rares with some personal exceptions. For early or mid game, you should sell all 3-star artifacts and most 4-star artifacts. But you might use 4-star to fill in things like crit rate or speed, and if you do, try not to roll those 4-star artifacts past 12, because you're going to be limited on your use for them over time. So taking a closer look at this stun piece, it has accuracy main stat, and initially I'm thinking Mighty Uko. It has a speed, so it could quad roll. It has one flat stat, that's the flat stat HP, and then it has attack percentage and HP percentage, which is kind of clashing. Mighty Uko doesn't need the attack, so that's effectively another flat stat almost. So this piece I'm going to go ahead and save and roll and hope for speed. So any artifact with 2 or more flat substats or clashing substats, I will sell unless it has a premium main stat combined with a premium substat with high potential. Then I will save it and roll it. So let's look at some pieces that were great pieces before they rolled, and it almost doesn't matter what they roll, because you can still find a use for them, whether this one rolls more speed or more crit rate. This one happened to roll okay in crit rate, and also attack, but if it had rolled speed, there would also be a place for it. This piece is excellent for a hybrid, so it has accuracy as the main stat. It rolled speed, double on crit rate, and on crit damage, and also has attack. So any champion that is an attack-based damager that you want to be fast and needs to put up debuffs or some kind of effect may do well with this piece, either as a broken set or as an accuracy set. This piece is almost in that category. However, if it had rolled, say, quad attack, that wouldn't have been so good. It did roll 1 in attack, but fortunately it rolled 3 in crit rate, which offsets the attack. I'm not sure why I glyphed it, but this is a great piece for a defensive nuker. So those 3 artifacts were great examples of pieces that you keep no matter the roll and no matter the set. So other examples of this type would be any weapon, head, or shield that has a substat of crit rate, crit damage, speed, and then either attack, defense, or HP percentage. On the defensive side, you would want a weapon, head, or shield with percentage defense, percentage HP, speed, and then some kind of combination of resistance or accuracy, or you could have both of those and then have only one of percentage defense or percentage HP. Now let's look at some bottom row artifacts that you would keep no matter what. This one right now is stored on a champion I don't use. It is a 5-star, but it was a mythical with speed. And it's the only piece like it on my account. It's ideal for a bomb champion with attack, percentage main stat, substat speed, substat accuracy, flat stat attack, and the HP is just kind of an extra. I do wish it was a 6-star though. This piece is a broken set crit damage glove for an attack damager. I have it on faceless because he does not need savage. So it's crit damage with attack percentage, speed, and crit rate. This next piece is an ideal gauntlet for a tanky type champion. Unfortunately, it does have the crit rate, but it also has defensive percentage, speed, and resistance. with a main stat of HP percentage. And then last, this is a great pair of speed boots in bolster for a defensive tanky type champion with defense percentage, HP percentage, resistance, and then unfortunately the wasted attack percentage. So for a bomb champion, we want attack percentage main stat, speed, we want flat stat attack, and accuracy. The flat attack isn't as important. So for a nuker on bottom row artifacts, you would like a main stat, like on gloves, of crit damage, chest, attack percentage, defense percentage, HP percentage. And on the boots, you want either a main stat of speed or their damage stat. Then for substats, you want crit rate, speed, their damage percentage stat if it's not on the main stat, and then either their damage flat stat or more survivability. Then for a tanky support type champion, you want a main stat of percentage HP or defense, you want resistance or accuracy, or you could do both, and along with speed, and then either the other of percentage defense or percentage HP that wasn't on the main stat. So then for low or mid gamers, you can use one less premium substat because they're hard to get. For damagers, you could have the damage stat or crit rate main stat gloves, and then the crit damage becomes important on the substat. And then for accuracy or resistance chests, you also want the survivability in the substats, like you would a tanky support champion. And for a hybrid, you might want that accuracy chest with, say, damage substats. So now let's get into rolling your artifacts. So you should try to do your artifact rolling when there's an artifact enhancement event up, one of the path events up that does artifact enhancement, or one of the card flip games that has artifact enhancement. So this has defense main stat boots, doesn't have any speed, but it does have crit rate. What I want is crit rate here. So I'm going to try and get it to 8. Got accuracy and crit damage. Crit damage is okay, so I'm going to probably bring this one to 12. Bring it to 12, and did not get crit rate. So even though I got the crit damage there, I'm going to go ahead and delete this one because I did not get enough crit rate on it. Onto this regeneration weapon. So what I want is speed or HP on it. So I'm going to bring it to 8, and I got crit rate. So I look at that and I'm thinking I should delete it, but then I do second guess myself. I might want crit rate on a regen piece, so I'm going to go ahead and keep it. I decide to go ahead and go back in and roll it to 12 and see what I get, and I get HP percentage. So that's still okay for a solo champ. Moving on to this Savage piece, I'm going to want speed and crit damage rolled, so I'm going to bring it to 8. I get 1 crit damage and I get 1 HP, and so I'm going to go ahead and bring it to 12. I could just delete it. I bring it to 12 and I get another flat stat HP. That's definitely a sell. Sell that one, and it's gone. On to the next Savage piece. I want any of those 3 stats. Hopefully crit rate, though. I get double speed. Let's see what I get on 12. And I get triple speed, so that's a decent one. That's definitely a saver. Moving on to the Savage boots. Those are defense percentage. I'm really looking for the speed there. So I go to 8, and I get resistance and HP. That one's going to be trash. I'm going to go ahead and sell that one. Even though I need the defense main stat, I'm going to sell it. So I'll move on to the 3 stun pieces. This one has speed. I'm going to want speed. It also has some damage stats and some HP, so I'm looking for speed and HP. On 8, I roll crit damage and crit rate. I'm probably going to go ahead and sell that one. Select it, sell it. Don't really need damage in a stun set. I need speed and I need survivability. So then these gloves, HP percent main stat, and I need speed. I get a double speed roll. Take that one to 12 now. Then I get a triple roll, so that's perfect. And then I think about it for a minute, and this piece is going to be ideal. So I want to go ahead and bring this one to 16 right now and see what I can expect. And I roll a defense flat stat, not that great, but still a great piece. Moving on to the chess piece that I just picked up from Fire Knight. So I want speed on this. Speed and HP percentage. Bring it to 8, I get HP percentage and only a flat stat HP. I'm going to go ahead and try and bring it to 12. If I can get a speed on 12, maybe I can get another speed on 16. And I get attack percentage, so this one is trash. I will sell it. Unfortunately, it was good for Uko, but not without speed rolls. So next I want to talk about what you want on damage sets, fast sets, tanky sets, and hybrid sets, and which ones I categorize, and you might categorize them differently. So I consider the main damage sets to be crit damage, savage, cruel, lethal, killstroke, instinct, and zeal, with the primary ones being the ones that ignore defense. There are others, but they're low usage, at least in the late or end game. So for early or mid-game, you might consider Crit Rate, Divine Crit Rate, and Fatal as also helpful damage sets. So for the damage sets, the importance of classifying them is that way is that you want to build them with the damage stats, main stats and substats like I described earlier. If you get more of the tanky or support main stat or substats on a damage set piece, then you need to consider, is it a premium piece with all main and substats that are almost perfect? Otherwise, you should sell it. So for fast sets, the primary sets are Speed, Divine Speed, Protection, and Righteous. So these sets could have just solely speed. If you're just rolling triple quad speed on these, and I know quad is rare, you don't necessarily need any other stats for this piece to be good. So you might see like an epic or a legendary piece with just speed on it. And then you're going to roll that, and if you get speed rolls, then it's a great piece. And then the other potential speed sets that if you happen to roll speed multiple times, those would be Swift Parry, Perception, Impulse, and Kill Stroke. But you may not seek those out as specifically speed type sets. So then on to tanky sets, I consider those to be Frost, Regeneration, Shield, Stalwart, Immortal, Deflection, Untouchable, Immunity, Frostbite, Guardian, Bolster, and Defiant. So ideally you're going to collect these with the tanky main stats and substats that I talked about earlier. So then hybrid sets, not like with a hybrid champion, these sets can have completely different stat types. So accuracy could be just for a debuffer, or it could be for a hybrid damager debuffer. Immunity, you might want an immunity damager, or say a warlord in immunity, or maybe a duchess in immunity. Probably not duchess, but maybe a cardial. Relentless can be built for a support champion or for a damager. Retaliation could be a damager like Skullcrown, or it could be a debuffer. Reflex, like Relentless, could be either a damager or a support. Swift Parry could be a tanky champion like a Duchess, or it could be a damager like Candrafon. Perception could be a speed champion like Arbiter, or it could be a debuffer like Madame Ceres. And then Impulse could be for a speed champion, or it could be for either a damager or a support champion. So you would collect artifacts from these sets in accordance with your intended use and the multiple uses. So let's talk about rolling. You need to roll all of your gear, at least to 8. So go through set by set. Crit rate, I would say, is a kind of a peripheral damage set to it, so I bring that to 8. And I got 1 crit damage on it, but not 2. I really wanted 2. So I'm going to go ahead and sell that. Then moving on to the next set, crit damage, I have everything at 8. So I'm going to look at accuracy. I'll look at this piece in accuracy, and I'll take a look at it, and I probably want multiple speed on this. And if I don't get it, I got 1 speed, but I didn't get the second 1 speed. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this one. There really wasn't a lot of good substats on that one anyway. So I'll move on to resistance, and there's a 5-star blue. That one I probably did not sell when I farmed it, and it's not very good, so I go ahead and sell it. So you want to roll all of the gear that you keep to at least 8. That allows you to have an idea of how good it is, and the HH Optimizer can run it. So you want to go through set by set, piece by piece, and identify what main stat, substat combinations you need. Then if you get the rolls, you keep rolling and move on, and if you roll poorly, then you sell the piece. And you don't have to roll everything all at once. If you go by artifact sets, then you can stop and write down where you left off. So the big takeaways are to set a rule for rank and rarity, classify the set for the type of champion to use it, save the main stat combination with the appropriate substats, roll for the substats you want, and keep if you get them, sell if you don't. And then remember, certain substats may make a piece valuable by themselves, like speed, crit rate, etc. So that's all for today. I hope you found this information useful. Feel free to leave a question or comment, and take care.